Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about my April TBR. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. I think this is our new setup, guys. I really do, because it's like the easiest to set up. Today we are going to be talking about some books that I want to read in April. You guys already know my TBRs are relatively short because I can never stick to a TBR. Literally never. If they're too long, they feel very daunting to me. So I really only have like maybe 5 books to talk about today. There are quite a few books releasing in April. However, I don't know, a lot of them are like contemporary romances that I'm just generally not that excited for. So I'm still kind of catching up on like the February and the March releases that I wasn't able to get to in the past couple months. I'm keeping my TBR short. It's just easier for me because I am such a mood reader. If I create a very long TBR, I get overwhelmed and I never stick to it. Like I said, I have 5 books to talk about. I also have a reread that I'm going to do this month. I've realized that rereading my favorite books is really like the best self-care. So I'm trying to reread at least one of my favorite books every month because it just makes me so happy. I love rereading. It's like a comfort thing for me. So anyways, I'm yapping. Let's jump into the books that I need to read in April. All right, so the first book that I have to read in April is my book club pick. I have a historical romance book club that I host with Jessica from Peace of Books and Christy from Christy Reads a Lot. We're called the Historical Hellions. We read historical romances published before the year 2000. And in the month of April, our buddy read is Tapestry by Karen Rainey. I know nothing about this book. I truly do not. The historical, published before the year 2000. I know that. Oh my god, the first review is someone saying that they were sobbing while reading this book. Why? Why? That makes me nervous because I'm a big baby and I will absolutely cry if someone else cried. Oh, okay. Now I remember. Sorry, guys. We pick our books like months in advance, so sometimes I forget the plot and I read it with you guys anyways. So this is described as an angsty Beauty and the Beast retelling. We're gonna read this together, chat about it on our live show. I do have the live show information. It's going to take place April 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Does that math? Is the mathing? I don't know. And it's going to be on Jessica's channel, so I'll leave her channel down below. So I'm excited to read this with you guys. So that's our book club pick. Next, let's talk about the 2 new releases that I'm really excited about and want to get to. Like I said, there are a lot of new releases happening in April, but a lot of them I was just kind of like meh about. But these next 2 were actually like on my most anticipated list of the entire year. So I'm really excited to get to them. The first one is Midnight of Ashes by Tessa Hale. This is the 2nd installment of her Dragons of Ember Hollow series. I read the first book in that series earlier this year. I actually think it was like my first 5-star of the year. It's called Twilight of Embers. I do have a reading vlog where I read this book, so I'll leave that down below because you do have to read this series in order. It is basically a paranormal why choose dragon shifter romance. I loved this first book so freaking much and I have to get to the second book because this one ended in a cliffhanger, as most Tessa Hale books do. The first book, our heroine is just starting college, and when she gets there she meets a couple of different guys that she has an instant connection with, and those are all of our heroes. Like I said, it's a why choose romance. She soon discovers that they are dragon shifters and she is their fated mate. The second book, Midnight of Ashes, is just going to be a continuation of that story. Tessa Hale is one of those authors where I love pretty much every book I've read by them. I've almost read their entire backlist. I just eat up their books like candy. Their writing style is so fast-paced and fun, so very excited for this new release. And the next new release that I'm hoping to get to is called Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. This is a sapphic romance. For sure this one was like on my highly anticipated list of the year because I did a sapphic romance video where I talked about a bunch of sapphic romances releasing in 2024, and this was one of them that I was just super excited about. I know people love Maisie Eddings' writing so much, but I haven't read any of her books before. Okay, I was reading the synopsis on Goodreads and I noticed that Christy gave this book 2 stars on Goodreads. No! I'm still gonna read it, but now I'm nervous because Christy and I have pretty similar reading taste, so if she didn't love this book, I don't know. I'm still gonna give it a try. The cover's really cute. I'm gonna go in with an open mind. It is described as a sapphic, opposite attract, forced proximity romance. One of our heroines wins the lottery, comes upon a lot of money, and pretty much everyone that she's ever met in her life is asking her for money. She decides to just get away, turn off her phone, and leave. She goes to this flower farm in hopes to find like peace and solace. She gets there, she realizes that the farm that she has rented is already owned by someone. So again, forced proximity, opposites attract. It does have some mixed ratings on Goodreads. It does. We have some 2 stars, some 3 stars, some 4 stars. Yeah, so mixed ratings, but we'll see if I like this one. The next book I want to read is an epic fantasy by Brandy Sandy himself. So in the month of March, I read one of my favorite books this year, and that was Trust of the Emerald Sea. Guys, I enjoyed that book so freaking much. You guys are probably sick and tired of me talking about that book, but nobody is more shocked that I loved a epic fantasy by Brandy Sandy more than me, okay? Did not have that in my 2024 bingo card. I think it's because he has so many books and his universe is so large that I had this misconception that jumping into his books would not be easy and it would be like hard to follow along. Not the case at all. Trust of the Emerald Sea was one of his secret projects, and it was kind of like a standalone book that you could definitely just jump in without reading any of his other books. And I loved the writing style so much. I loved the plot. The audiobook was so well done. It was just funny and wholesome, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. So now I want to read more of his books. We're gonna go on a little bit of a journey. Okay, we're gonna go on a Brandy Sandy journey. And the one that I picked up is another one of his standalones. I just bought this book like 2 days ago. It hasn't come in the mail yet, but it is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. This is another one of like those secret projects that he did through Kickstarter, I think. It is kind of being marketed as a standalone where you don't have to have complete knowledge of his entire fantastical universe to like understand what's going on. I don't know, there's so much noise happening outside right now, so I'm sorry if you can hear that background noise. I live across from an airport, so can't do much about that. The book sounds so creative, and I don't even know where to begin to describe the plot. Brandy Sandy is a man of many words. I am not. So really hooked me as I saw Reagan from Peru's Project talk about this book, and she described it as this epic fantasy that had like this Freaky Friday twist to it, like a body swapping twist, and I was like, sold. I need nothing else. Follows our two characters, Yumi, who comes from like the land of the spirits that channels creativity and different spirits, and then it follows the painter who comes from a land of complete darkness, and his job is to paint these nightmares that are appearing before they could get larger and like destroy the universe. I don't know. They end up getting in a situation where they're literally like body swapping. They're in each other's worlds and perspectives. I'm fascinated. I desperately want to read this. I probably will film a reading vlog. I really do think I'm going to read some more of his backlist, and I'm not sure where to start, so maybe that's where you guys could help me out if you know more about Brandon Sanderson's writing. Definitely going to read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, but I'm kind of going back and forth what other series I should start. I do want to read the Skyward series because I remember people like raving about that one, but it is a YA book. And then the other one that I was thinking of reading was, I think it's called his Mistborn series. Is that what it's called? It's called his Mistborn series, and the reason that one was catching my eye is because I know it has like a found family trope in it, which is one of my favorite tropes in fantasy. So yeah, let me know, where should I start with Brandon Sanderson? And would you guys like a reading vlog of me kind of like binging some of his backlist? I'm just gonna like wade into the waters of his universe because there's a lot of books to catch up on, and I don't think I can get through all of them. So we're just gonna like read a couple. I spent entirely too much time talking about that, but speaking of fantasy, I went to the bookstore, my used bookstore near me that I love, and I was hoping to find some like Brandon Sanderson books, and I found nothing, babe. So I was talking to the guy at the bookstore, and I was like, oh, do you have like any Brandon Sanderson books by any chance? Again, this is like a used bookstore, so they don't get a ton of new releases. Usually I find like most of my like historic romances or like classics there. So we were talking, and he's like, no, like we can't even keep Brandon Sanderson on the shelves. As soon as we get some, it's gone. And I was like, you know what, that's fair. Kind of wandering the bookstore, I was in a fantasy mood, and I ended up grabbing this one. This is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen. This is the first book in her Saga of the Unfated series. This book is just absolutely stunning. I love these sprayed edges so much. I saw a lot of people hauling this, and I know people love Danielle Jensen, but I've never read her other fantasy books, but I saw the sprayed edges and I just thought they were so pretty. And it was funny because the guy at the bookstore is the one that sold me on this. He was like, oh yeah, like I just started that one on my lunch break. It's about like Nordic mythology, and it was pretty interesting. And I was like, you know what, dude, you are totally selling me on this book. Let me pick it up. I just thought it was fun because I go to this bookstore all the time. So he's like, yeah, we can like read it together. You let me know what you thought of it it when you come back. And I was like, yeah, of course. So I guess I'm buddy reading this with the guy at the bookstore. But excited to jump into this fantasy. I feel like I need to read more Daniel Jensen though. So those are the 5 books that I really want to get to. Some new releases, some fantasy romances. And like I said, as a little treat to myself, I'm allowing myself to reread one of my favorite books every single month. The book that I'm going to be rereading is Rat Park by Marina Vivancos. I love her so much. You guys know she's my favorite author ever. I literally will not shut up about her because I feel like she's so underrated. I've read her entire backlist and given nearly all of them 5 stars. I have a whole video where I talk about her entire backlist and all the tropes and my favorite books. I'll leave that down below. This is a Marina Vivancos stan account. Yes, it is. It's an author that predominantly writes queer romances that are just sweepingly romantic and deeply emotional. Her books have the best representation when it comes to like mental health and the fluidity of sexuality. It's just gorgeous. Like, her writing is so stunning, and for the longest time she was only writing ebooks. You could not purchase like physical copies of her books, but now she is slowly but surely releasing some of her popular titles in paperback. So pretty much all of my rereads have coincided with what she's releasing in paperback, is why I'm going to be rereading Rat Park. This is a standalone male contemporary romance. Follows our hero Dominic, who did not have the best childhood. His mother was very emotionally abusive and she was also addicted to drugs. So he was exposed to various drugs at a very young age, and that led to his own addiction. He is at a point in his life where he is literally like at his lowest, and he gets in some trouble, some legal trouble, where he could either go to jail or go into like a rehabilitation program. Ends up meeting a police officer and her family, and they just really connect. It has a huge found family trope. This family like takes him in as he is recovering, and his romance is with the son in the family, Flor. This is a friends to lovers age gap romance. It spans many years because it's not only following the romance, but it's also following our main character Dominic's journey, following his life as he is battling his addiction and learning to love himself. It does have some pretty heavy trigger warnings, so make sure to check that out before you jump into the book. But oh my god, I love this book and I'm so excited to reread it and annotate it. It's gonna be so much fun. Oh my god. Should I do a read along? A Marina Vivancos read along where we read some of her backlist together? Because I'm already doing that. Like, would you guys want to do that with me? That would be so fun. Let me know if you guys want me to do that. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I've already decided that I'm going to, so just give me the validation that you'll join me. Let me know in the comments. Those are the main books that I definitely want to get to, but as I was filming this video, I did see some that were kind of catching my eye. I saw both of these when I was just like scrolling through Instagram. Let's talk about it, why not? I'm in a chatty mood. The first one is Lights Out by Kayla James. This is the first book in the Grid series, and this one is apparently like a Formula One romance, so a sports romance. I know nothing about Formula One. I'm not even going to pretend to, but something about this cover was really so cute to me. The hero with his little dimple. Oh, shut the fuck up. That is adorable. I don't know. I really like this cover. Illustrated covers are like a hit or a miss for me, but I love the illustrated covers that have like the couple on them. And this one is just cute. So I really want to read it. And then the next one is called Bad Wrong Things by C.P. Harris. I just downloaded this on Kindle Unlimited. This one is an age gap taboo romance because it is a best friend's dad romance. And it's also male. I saw like an illustrated version of this cover and it hooked me. And then I saw it was a male best friend's dad romance and I immediately downloaded it on my Kindle app. So we'll see if I get to that one. So the TBR was going to be small and then I just kept adding books on it. So let's just stop here before we get ahead of ourselves. If you are still here, if you've stayed this long and you have enjoyed the video, first of all, you're a real one and I absolutely adore you. Second of all, leave me an emoji down below. What emoji should we do? How about we do white hearts to match my white shirt today? So a bunch of white hearts in the comments down below to let me know you've made it this far and that we're bookish besties, because obviously. Anyways, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!